You guys have probably heard that, and that is the Hermetic principle of correspondence. It clicked for me in a new way because I don't blame those people I was attracting because I was attracting them. So what about me was attracting that? Welcome to a new series I'm calling Soul Sessions. Grateful to have you guys here with me to dive into topics that are near and dear to my heart. I'm Beckett, and today I'm excited to share this journey with you. What are we diving into? Well, we're going to dive into the heart space, more specifically into what it really means to open your heart fully. Opening heart is more than just an abstract concept. It's about creating space for love, connection, and transformation. I've been on this journey now to open my heart since the beginning of this year. And let me tell you, it's been one of the most powerful and at times uncomfortable journeys I've taken. To set the tone, I want to start with a quote that's been a guiding light for me. It's a book that I really, really loved, or love, and it goes something like this. If we are truly to inhabit our full human potential, we must descend to our depths to retrieve our souls. Now that's from Bill Plotkin's book, Soulcraft. And it speaks to the idea of opening the heart means descending into the depths first. We must embrace everything within us, the light, the dark, the uncomfortable, because that's where the real magic happens. I've always said that you can't just stick with the love and stick with the light and stick with all the good stuff, because then you're not loving yourself wholly and completely, and you're not loving others wholly and completely. So today I want to jump into the Hermetic principle of correspondence and how this particular universal law is guiding my heart opening journey. I'll share stories with you, I'll share tools, and I'll give you a brief little meditation that you guys can use right now to start integrating your own practice of heart opening if that's something that resonates or calls to you. So, like I said, at the start of this year, I set an intention. I want to open my heart fully. Sounds simple, right? But I had no idea what kind of transformation it would invite into my life. For years now, I've been adapting from a traumatic brain injury I had. It's an injury that forced me into survival mode. It literally was just about getting through each day one step at a time. Especially right after my injury happened, it was a struggle. There was a moment after my injury where I thought, I don't know if I can get through this. This actually might be too much for one human being to deal with. But I also realized that now that I'm coming out of it, and it's been 10 years, that survival mode has kept me closed off from deeper connections, especially in my relationships. When you mentally aren't capable of even focusing on yourself, relationships kind of fall to the wayside, because if I can't even take care of me, how can I be a partner or a friend or even a thriving family member? It's something all TBI survivors struggle with, and it's all part of the journey. But now I kind of feel like I'm on the other side of this. And so when I knew I wanted to work on something, I wanted to start there, because my relationships, like for many of us, are the most important things in our lives. So I knew I was guarded. I emotionally was unavailable. I could let you into a point, but that was about it. And that really took some honest self-reflection for me to even admit that. I always share this with my clients, or when I'm writing about things in my newsletter, that honesty is the key to integration. If you can't be honest with yourself, you can't change what you don't admit. And so this was a tough one for me to admit. I was putting up walls and telling myself they were necessary for protection, or, they're not that big of a deal. It's just a little, you don't need to come all the way in. You can just kind of stay over there and we'll be good. I was fooling myself. And yet, as I started paying more attention, I noticed that the people I was attracting mirrored that energy back to me. I found myself in relationships with people who were emotionally unavailable. And it wasn't until I really sat with that looking at my journals and meditating and reflecting and realizing, as within, so without. You guys have probably heard that, and that is the Hermetic principle of correspondence. It clicked for me in a new way because I don't blame those people I was attracting because I was attracting them. So what about me was attracting that? And if I wanted to experience love fully, I had to be willing to go beyond that and open up my heart, because frequency attracts frequency. So they were just mirroring what I was putting out. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Hermetic principle of correspondence, it's one of the 7 universal laws. And it states, as above, so below, as within, so without. It's the idea that our inner world reflects our outer world. And this concept isn't just spiritual woo-woo. It's actually proven fact. It's something we can see in nature, in relationships, in your daily lives. Think about it. When you're stressed and anxious, doesn't it feel like everything around you reflects that energy? Maybe if you're starting to have conflicts at work and feel disconnected from people that you love, and your heart is like a little closed off and you're like, ugh. And then everybody around you starts feeling, ugh, or you keep getting more aggravated. As within, so without. When your heart is open, though, you're coming from a place of love. And suddenly, your world around you starts to reflect. So that's why I started working on it this year. And I realized that if my heart was closed off, if I had these walls up, I'm not going to attract the type of relationship that I want. And that's also preventing me from receiving the very love I'm saying I want. So I can't be mad at the world. I have to understand that the power lies within me. I can change that. So my relationships in general, they felt incomplete. Like there was always this barrier that I couldn't get past. But what I realized in those relationships was they were mirroring the barrier within myself that I wasn't allowing to take down. It was a false idea of protection, because as we know, there is no real protection. Let me share a metaphor that has really helped me to really encompass and understand this process. And I'm sure you guys can all relate to this. We've heard it a million times. It's a caterpillar, right? It spends its life crawling on the ground, seeing the world from a limited perspective. But when it's time to transform, it cocoons itself and it dissolves into this mush, and then eventually emerges as a butterfly. That cocooning phase, it's the messy, it's the uncomfortable, and it's necessary. Nobody likes this phase, myself included. It doesn't feel good. And so we spend a lot of time to avoid it. But what we have to understand is that is needed for transformation. So when you start whatever journey you want to transform, and for me, it's with my heart, same thing happens. I have to learn to let go of old ways of being. I have to dissolve the walls that I've built, and I got to trust that something beautiful is coming. But just like the caterpillar turns to find out, the process isn't always pretty. Sometimes you will lose friends, family, coworkers, sometimes people that you thought, oh, these are my people, and suddenly they're not around. Simply because you're growing on 2 different paths. And you just don't align anymore. For me, I know I'm still in the cocooning stage. I'm somewhere between the mush and the wings. And that's where the growth is happening right now for me. And it's in this discomfort, and it's in some of these losses that I've experienced. And I understand that in order for something new to come in, old things have to go. And I know on the other side of this, there's freedom. And I will be able to love and be fully loved. And in the end, I think that's what we all want. It's a journey I'm willing to go down, because I know I'm worth it. I know my heart's worth it. And I know the people that I love and am in relationship with are worth it. So let me dive in and talk about tools. So a tool is something that helps you transform in whatever journey you're choosing. For me, this one that has really helped me to open my heart and where I started was one of the most powerful rituals I've done is a cacao ceremony. Now, if you've never heard of it, cacao is a sacred plant medicine known for its ability to gently open up the heart chakra. The ritual itself is simple but profound. We created a sacred space, we sip the cacao with intention, and allow the heart to soften. Now, everything is energy, and so your intention in working with this plant medicine is energetic and then affects the plant medicine that you're ingesting. But if this is something you guys want to try, I know there's lots of YouTube videos out there on it. You can Google it, but you don't need to drink cacao to open your heart. That was just somewhere I felt called to do. The key to all this is creating a sacred space, whether it's lighting a candle, whether it's journaling, whether it's spending time alone in nature. And it's about setting the intention to invite more love in. And it's a practice. Is everything going to change for me in one cacao ceremony? No. Is everything going to change for you in one journaling session or meditation or walk? No. And this is where we learn to give ourselves grace and understand these are practices. And when you start stacking them one on top of another, you start to see transformation. So another practice that has helped me a lot is breath work. I do something called heart coherence breathing, where I breathe deeply into my heart space. So you inhale through your nose for a count of 5, imagining that breath filling your heart, and exhale through your nose for a count of 5, releasing any tension or walls you've built. It's simple, but it creates powerful shifts. And in fact, why don't we try it right now together so you guys can get a good idea of what this breath work involves. So when you inhale, you're going to count to 5, something like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale for a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can silently count or you can count aloud, but that's simply what it looks like. You're inhaling for 5, exhaling for 5. Okay, let's start. Wherever you are, I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Feel the breath moving into your heart space. And now exhale gently through your nose. Again, deep breath in. Filling the heart with love and light. Exhale, letting go of any tension or resistance. One more time. Deep breath in. And slowly exhale. Now just notice how you feel. Maybe a little lighter, a little softer. This is something you can practice daily to opening up your heart space. Simple. These don't have to be profound. You could be having a really rough day and going, let me do some heart coherence breathing, and it can shift your whole day. So I want you to reflect now on your own journey. Where in your life are you holding back from love? Where are the walls that you've built around your heart? And what would it look like to start letting those walls come down just a little bit? Take a moment to think about these questions, maybe even pause the podcast, grab a journal, jot down what comes up for you. This is the first step to opening up your heart and being aware of where you might be closed off. It's these types of questions we need to ask ourselves because, like I said in the beginning, we need to be really honest and understand that nobody's reading these answers. So if you can't be honest with you, how can you be honest with your partner, your loved ones, your friends? It's got to start with you. As within, so without. Now what I want to give you guys is a heart-guided meditation. It's another tool that I've used in the morning and in the evening. So I do it briefly when I get up, and I've done it briefly before I go to bed. And sometimes I'll even do it during the day to really put me in that heart-centered space. Okay, so if you are in a safe space, meaning you're not driving your car, I'd like you to find a comfortable position. If sitting is uncomfortable for you, then please take a walk. Moving and listening is just as good as a meditation as sitting with your eyes closed. It's whatever works for you. There's no one right way to meditate. So, let's get started on this heart-opening meditation. Go ahead and close your eyes. And take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale softly. Now I want you to continue to breathe. And while you're breathing, I want you to imagine a soft green light glowing in your heart space. With each breath, feel the light expanding. It grows larger with each inhale, filling your chest, your arms, and your entire body. Now think of someone or something you love deeply. It could be a person, a place, or even a memory. Hold that image in your heart as the green light continues to expand, filling you with warmth and love. Now let that love grow. Really feel into that love. Feel it radiating from your heart, filling every part of you. Let it overflow until you are completely surrounded by love. Now take one more deep breath in. Exhale. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Opening the heart is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. But with each small step, with each breath, with each act of love, we begin to soften those walls and invite more connection, more joy, more peace into our lives. I encourage you to take some time this week to practice the heart coherence breathing I gave you or the meditation we just did, and notice how your world shifts when you focus on expanding your heart space. I'd also love to hear from you guys. What insights came up for you during this episode? Are you opening your heart? Feel free to share your reflections in the comments below, or connect with me through Substack or YouTube or any of these Spotify, Apple podcast platforms. I genuinely love to hear from you, and I am genuinely grateful for you guys to be here with me and taking this time to listen. Together, we can create a community of open-hearted living. So until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and keep shining your unique light. Have a beautiful day, my friends. I love you.